High school graduate Aoba Suzukaze secures a position as a character designer at the Eagle Jump video game company. While adapting to her new role, she gets acquainted with art director Rin Tooyama, lead character designer Kou Yagami, game director Shizuku Hazuki, and character designer Hifumi Takimoto. Aoba encounters difficulties in her studies related to 3D modeling, but receives assistance from the initially shy but friendly Hifumi through instant messaging. Subsequently, Aoba joins monster designer Yun Iijima and animator Hajime Shinoda for lunch. Kou captures a photo of Aoba for her ID card after their meal. During a break, Aoba, Hifumi, Hajime, and Yun gather for afternoon tea. Following her inaugural day at the company, Aoba discovers that the team is working on the third installment of Fairies Story, the video game series that had inspired her career choice. Aoba later chats on the phone with her high school friend Nini Sakura, sharing her excitement about working alongside Kou. It's been a week since Aoba began her tenure at Eagle Jump. During a break, she peruses photos of Hifumi with her pet hedgehog Sojiro, with one capturing Hifumi wearing an endearing smile. Aoba encourages Hifumi to exhibit a more natural smile in person. The following day, Kou assigns Aoba her inaugural task, crafting a non-player character model for a virtual village. Later, Aoba receives an invitation from her colleagues to attend a welcome party at a restaurant. Shizuku departs early, noting that their co-workers are unconventional but still good-hearted. Kou inquires if Aoba has a boyfriend, while Rin asks Aoba about her knowledge of pouring beer into a glass. Hifumi requests Aoba to order her a neat mori takeso, tempting Aoba to take a sip despite being underage by 2 years. Afterward, as Hifumi, Hajime, and Yun head home, Kou takes Aoba and Rin to a bar, although Aoba is not permitted to indulge in an orange blossom cocktail. Aoba subsequently chats with Nini over the phone, elucidating her role in creating a villager model for the upcoming game. Aoba and Yun both oversleep, causing them to rush to work at Eagle Jump. During their sprint from the train station, Aoba falls face first after struggling to keep up with Yun. Fortunately, Hifumi is nearby and lends a hand to retrieve the dropped items. Initially prepared to reprimand Aoba and Yun for their tardiness, Kou decides to give them a pass once she hears the full story. Aoba puts in extended hours to bring her villager model up to the required standard. After each revision, Kou informs Aoba that the model still lacks fluidity. Hifumi suggests that Aoba should emphasize the model's cuteness. On their train ride home, Rin mentions that Kou never settles for mediocrity and has high expectations for Aoba. As Aoba arrives at her doorstep, Nini contacts her, emphasizing the significance of non-player characters. This revelation prompts Aoba to arrive at work early the following morning, completing her villager model after dedicating a week to her initial project. Kou finally gives her approval to the villager model and informs Aoba that her next project must be completed within a 3-day deadline. Aoba accompanies Shizuku to the train station, sharing that she's presently working on her third villager model. Meanwhile, Rin misses the last train and ends up staying overnight at the office with Kou. Both Kou and Rin ponder the potential success of their video game and discuss Aoba's accomplishments as a character designer thus far. The following morning, Rin experiments with Kou's unconventional fashion sense, while Aoba arrives at work early. Later, Rin distributes paychecks to Hifumi, Yun, Hajime, and Aoba. She inquires about how Aoba plans to spend her first paycheck. Aoba discovers that Hajime invested in figurines, and Yun expanded her wardrobe with her inaugural earnings. Although Shizuku can't recall how she used her first paycheck, Umiko Ahagon, a video game programmer, redirects her to her workspace. It's revealed that Rin and Kou enjoyed a trip to the hot springs, while Hifumi purchased a cosplay costume. After careful consideration, Aoba decides to use her earnings to buy a cake as a gesture of gratitude for her parents who had purchased her a suit. Subsequently, Kou and Rin head to a spa, with Kou teasing Rin about her arm fat. Aoba glances at the animated villager model that Hajime has been working on. When Rin's stylus malfunctions, Kou assigns Aoba and Hajime the task of buying a new one at a consumer electronics store. During this errand, Hajime misplaces her wallet, but luckily, Aoba discovers it next to Hajime's keyboard. Upon their return to the office, they present the new stylus to Kou, although Hajime struggles to pull off a cute expression. The following day, Aoba discovers that Hajime commutes to work by bicycle instead of taking the train. Hajime and Kou playfully adjust the thermostat a few times, leading to a dispute as Yun feels self-conscious about her weight, hidden beneath her long sleeves. Rin intervenes by prohibiting Kou, Hajime, and Yun from further thermostat adjustments. On the subsequent day, Hifumi reveals to Aoba that Kou used to be quite shy 2 years ago. Rin also confides in Aoba that Kou has never been particularly skilled in social interactions. Later, despite Kou being a night owl and accomplishing more work after hours, Aoba continues to support her. Subsequently, Hifumi seeks advice from Sojiro, wondering whether she should present herself as serious or playful. After Aoba finishes her quota of villager models, Kou assigns her the task of creating a significant villager model from scratch. Kou shares that she assumed the role of lead character designer when she was Aoba's age. Gradually, Aoba realizes that the vital villager model, which she named Sophia, is actually based on herself. The subsequent day, while their colleagues enjoy a weekend break, Aoba meets Nini at the cinema. They purchase popcorn and soda before watching the Moon Ranger movie, which falls under the magical girl genre. On the following day, Kou and Rin attend a meeting, while Aoba, Hifumi, Hajime, and Yun express concerns that the game release might face cancellation. Upon Kou and Rin's return from the meeting, they inform Aoba, Hifumi, Hajime, and Yun that they will need to work overtime due to falling behind schedule. Aoba decides to spend the night at the office with Kou and ends up sleeping in a bear-themed sleeping bag in a meeting room. During this time, Aoba discovers that Hajime and Yun also watched the Moon Ranger movie. Umiko informs Aoba about the various import errors arising from her villager models. Following this, Umiko tries to make amends for her earlier insensitivity by inviting Aoba to a shooting range for airsoft guns, with Kou joining in. At the range, Umiko instructs Aoba on target shooting, leading to an unexpected duel between Umiko and Kou. Later, Aoba, Hifumi, Hajime, and Yun head to the hospital for a company checkup, during which they undergo blood pressure measurements and blood draws administered by a young nurse named Yamada. However, when Yamada becomes overly nervous, Umiko takes matters into her own hands by checking her own blood pressure and drawing her own blood. Additionally, they all have their measurements taken, revealing an unexpected discovery, Yun noticing that Hajime has a well-toned abdomen. Following the company checkup, Rin and Shizuku leave early to make preparations, while Kou shares the news with Aoba that Eagle Jump will be hiring part-time playtesters. Finally, Aoba and Nini have a phone conversation, in which Nini explains that summer break is fast approaching. During her summer break from college, Nini decides to take up a part-time playtesting position at Eagle Jump, with Umiko overseeing her. On her first day at work, Nini attempts to surprise Aoba, but Umiko scolds her, suspecting her of unauthorized snooping. Nini dedicates long hours each day to identify gameplay issues and report them. During a break, Nini unintentionally consumes Kou's pudding from the refrigerator, which leads to her feeling extremely anxious when Rin sends out a company-wide email alleging theft. The following day, Nini anonymously replaces the pudding for Kou, who then willingly offers it to Rin. Although Rin senses that Nini was responsible, she tactfully resolves the situation without directly exposing her. Nini confides in Aoba, expressing her happiness about working with such great colleagues at the company. In a surprising turn of events, Umiko praises Nini for her hard work while they ride an elevator together. When Rin falls ill with a cold, Kou takes the responsibility of bringing her home and taking care of her. Meanwhile, Aoba, Hifumi, Hajime, and Yun are left to work independently, but Umiko catches them slacking off. During this time, Umiko discovers that Nini often worries about Aoba because of her occasional clumsiness. Reluctantly, Kou feeds Rin some porridge to help her recover. Later, Umiko informs Aoba that the company will be closed for the weekend due to a power line inspection. In response, Aoba, Hifumi, Hajime, and Yun decide to stay overnight to work on some final touches. Interestingly, Umiko also learns that Aoba is frequently concerned about Nini due to her own occasional clumsiness. After putting in long hours, Aoba, Hifumi, Hajime, and Yun decide to take a break and visit a local bathhouse in the middle of the night for some much-needed relaxation. Later on, Shizuku allows Nini to give Umiko a pastry as a gesture of goodwill. However, this leads to Nini having to relocate her workspace next to Umiko's. After purchasing 2 discounted boxes of donuts, Aoba and Kou arrive at the office only to discover that Hifumi has also bought 2 boxes of donuts. Aoba and Hifumi decide to bring 1 box of donuts to Umiko, who expresses admiration for Nin's strong work ethic despite her occasional unruly behavior. Hajime and Yun bring in 2 boxes of donuts, while Rin and Shizuku go above and beyond by bringing 4 boxes of donuts. Yun becomes a bit concerned when she notices Shizuku also brought a pack of rice crackers, along with the donuts. The following day, during their train commute to work, Nini expresses concern to Aoba about her potentially overworking herself. In response, Aoba points out that Nini has sacrificed her summer break college homework just for employment. Umiko later advises Nini to reconcile with Aoba as soon as possible. During lunch, Aoba shares a meal with Kou, who mentions that she feels like she lives in a different world from her worried mother. Nini soon learns from Yun that Aoba has independently created 50 non-player characters. After Aoba returns from an errand, Nini finally reconciles with her. Hifumi expresses her hope that Aoba will always remain a kind person, while Rin inadvertently overhears Kou receiving a phone call from her concerned mother. Kou arranges for Aoba, Hajime, and Yun to attend a video game exhibit where the public announcement of Fairies Story 3 is scheduled, despite the fact that there has been an internet leak about it. When they arrive, they find Hifumi already there, dressed in a cosplay costume and enthusiastically playing the game demo. Witnessing the positive reception of their work, Aoba, Hajime, and Yun are motivated to strive for excellence. The following day, Kou selects Aoba's concept art for Sophia to be featured in a video game magazine. Kou reluctantly dons a stylish outfit chosen by Rin for an interview with Yamada, who has transitioned into a photographer. Later, Nini reports a gameplay freeze issued dangerously close to the deadline. Umiko instructs Nini to run an errand with Aoba to buy an energy drink from the grocery store. With all their co-workers pulling an overnighter, the new game is essentially complete. Nini shares an emotional farewell with everyone else as her part-time job comes to a close. The co-workers gather together to purchase their own, limited edition copies of Fairies Story 3, which is now available for sale. During a conversation, Hajime and Nini accidentally divulge some spoilers in a public setting, only to discover that these plot details had already been leaked on social media by players who obtained advance copies. At a celebratory party attended by all the co-workers and sponsors, both Kou and Shizuku deliver speeches highlighting their success. During this event, Aoba learns that Shizuku intends to promote Kou as the art director for the next project, while Rin and Shizuku will assume the roles of game co-directors. In a twist of fate, Nini wins an airsoft gun from Umiko in a raffle, but is disappointed to hear that Umiko plans to hire professional playtesters for the upcoming project. Shizuku reveals to Aoba that Kou had initially been the art director for Fairies Story 2, but a new hire quit after just 6 months due to Kou's strict demeanor, prompting Kou to step down from the position. Seeking a moment with Kou, Aoba encounters her in the lobby and requests her autograph on her copy of Fairies Story 3. Aoba takes the opportunity to express her gratitude for everything Kou has contributed, assuring her that she will excel as an art director.
I hope you liked the recap. If so, don't forget to subscribe and like it.